This is CNN Breaking News.
We're interrupting this program because of groundbreaking news coming from the far land of Uzbekistan. We're live from the shore of Aral Sea, which has been lowering its water level for decades. As Aral Sea is located between the countries of Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan, as you can see on the map next to me. There had been a time where this sea had been the fourth largest saline lake in the world, with more than 600 square kilometers area. The sea is surrounded by deserts and arid lands, thus making it the only food source around. The people living here are fully dependent on the sea, and its extinction will damage their lifestyle. Let's hear what is their opinion about it.
This is CNN Breaking News.
Let's hear their opinion about the shrinking of the Aral Sea. Greetings, tell us what you think about this strange occurrence.
I'm very worried about my family and my house, and I'm worried about the sea. This used to be a beautiful oasis in the middle of the desert, and now it's almost gone. The sea was a key factor to the survival of the entire community, as it brought food to the table.
But what did you need the sea for?
For fishing, it is our main occupation here. Also, we use it for water supply, but nowadays it is too salty for the cleaning station even. It is unusable for drinking water, and because it is too salty, the fish is dying also. We use the sea for transportation to send stocks and ships along the rivers of Amudarya and Sirdarya, but now our ships are stuck at the bottom of the sea, separated from water and left to rust under the sea.
But how could all this happen? How could a lake just start disappearing?
It all started when the government came up with those big plans of cultivating the land. They promised us to make the land fertile, and then came with the big machines and shovels and started digging and digging. We were naive and hungry and waited patiently until the gentrification was complete.
As you heard, the people here are blaming the government for what's happening. We're going to stay tuned for if any evidences show up.
People are never going to learn that they cannot mess with nature without consequences. Every time there will be consequences, and those consequences will create misery and sorrow for the population. You saw them panicking over something that they have brought to themselves, seeking sympathy and help from the rest of the world through melancholical reports on the TV. To fully understand the situation, we have to get back to when it all started. The year is 1960, and the Aral Sea was part of the Soviet Union. At that time, all lands were centralized and belonged to the country. Farmers took lands off the country to work on them and to pay taxes for them. The area around the sea was deserted and arid. It was hard to grow plants on it, but the climate was just right. The two main rivers were Amudarya and Sirdarya, and they replenished the water in the Aral Sea. Only around these rivers, land was fertile enough to grow cotton and wheat. So the government decided to build canals and to divert the water from those rivers to promote for agricultural irrigation. This would open job spaces, this would make the land more inhabitable, they would say. Immediately after they built the canals and the dams, the water level of the Aral Sea started to drop accordingly. At normal conditions, the Aral Sea gets approximately 1/5 of its water supply through the rainfall, while its rest is delivered by the Amudarya and Sirdarya rivers. Evaporation causes the water level to decrease by the same amount that flows into the sea, making it sustainable as long as inflow is equal to evaporation on average. Therefore, the diversion on rivers is the origin of the imbalance that caused the sea to slowly desiccate over the last 4 decades. As you can see here, the change that happened throughout the years is really drastic. As the water level was going down because it is evaporated, the salt level was rising, killing all the kelp and the seaweed, both of which are primary producers. When there is no primary producers, all the other consumers on the other trophic levels will slowly die out. The extra salt will hurt the soil also. The salinization of soils will prevent anything from growing on it and will decrease the fertility of the land, thus creating soil erosion. That is why farmers have to use fertilizers. The abusive use of fertilizers, furthermore, deteriorated the soil and created pollution that affected the underground waters. All this is benefiting the desertification process that has seized the land. What started as a project to fertilize the land will lead to its desertification.
This is CNN Breaking News.
Hello again, I'm currently in the southern Aral Sea and I have gathered a report for the environmental changes that affected negatively the lives of the people living here. People here are reporting of severe dust storms after the 1980s, and after these storms there have been dramatic spikes in cases of anemia, bronchial asthma, typhoid at approximately 8 times the national average, and in tuberculosis also. The region here has a high infant mortality rate, 75 out of 1,000 children born. The reason for this is because after the water level of the Aral Sea lowered so much, the island of Vozroždenia, which had been a former base for chemical weapons of the Soviet Union, had become part of the mainland. The mixture of chemicals and salt in the atmosphere and in the arid land, along with the winds coming from north, created deadly dust storms that have affected around 5 million people and made another 100,000 people to move out to a better place. Drought also affects the environment, causing even more people to move out this wretched place. The people are angry and protesting to bring back the Aral Sea, but is that really possible? Is there a way for the sea to shine again with its previous glory? Stay tuned for more information.
Fortunately, there is a way to save the wretched sea, but it would take decades. People have been trying to stop the crisis from the beginning of the 1990s. Then the Aral Sea finally split up into two, southern and northern, and then the people realized that something significant had happened. After 30 years of desertification, the evaporation of more than 40% of the sea's water level, people started to prevent what they had started. The first landmark towards the protection of the sea was a dam that Kazakhstan built to protect the northern part from desiccation. With the help of the World Bank, more dams and canals were built, and then the northern Aral Sea increased the surface area by a third. The canal system of the Sirdarya should be modernized in order to increase the flow and prevent waste of water. With the constant flow from the Sirdarya, the water level of the northern Aral Sea will be normalized, and spillovers can start to occur in the southern sea. Those spillovers wouldn't fill the whole trench, but would bring fresh water for the environment. Changes in the biodiversity will occur at a striking rate. Reeds and primary producers will start appearing along the coast, and primary consumers such as insects will start inhabiting the desert. This secondary succession will promote a second life for the lost sea of the Aral. The future of the Aral Sea depends on the hands of the people in the following generations, forcing nature into adapting fast to a demand of unprecedented scale has brought to us unfortunate consequences and taught us to not disregard and take nature as granted. We must react in the same intent in pursuit to have the sea as we were destroying it. Save Aral Sea.